Welcome to this online format. Now that we're having to present a lot of our materials via this mode of communication, thank you so much for joining. And Gil Rodriguez, Director of Mobilization, here trying to bring to this part of our understanding of what's taking place during Itineration during this pandemic season. I know it's different. I know that there have been cancellations, there have been postponements, etc., etc. But at the same time, it doesn't mean that things have come to a complete cease. So I'm going to give you a few tips here just on what you could be doing now during this season right now. I've been in contact with several of our district missions directors. I've been in contact with several missions pastors. Some of you maybe have seen some of the interviews that I've done with them as well. But just trying to get a sense from across the country, what is taking place, what's happening. Things are beginning to open up, but it will take some time for churches to get back. And we don't know exactly when that's going to be. So in the meantime, here are some tips that I want to leave you with. Number one, ask the Holy Spirit for guidance and innovation. He knows where the sources are, and he can direct you, he can guide you. Every time I did an itineration, a normal itineration, I would always say, Lord, help me, Holy Spirit, guide me, lead me to the place, to the person, to the district even, or network. I would always ask for guidance, and he would help me, he would lead, he would guide. So, and also, as I mentioned earlier, innovation. We're going to have to look at this a little bit differently. We're going to have to think maybe outside of the box a little bit, and we're going to have to work with what's taking place in our local churches, whatever they're doing, whatever they're facing, and how they're going to, and how they're be communicating to their congregants. That's some of the things we have to consider, of course, and then find a way to just join in with that and be a part of that service any way we can. So ask the Holy Spirit for creative innovation. I know a lot of people are doing videos, I should say, and churches are allowing them to be part of their window and part of their services. Here's what I would suggest. I would highly suggest that you do prepare a 2 and 3 and 5 minute window presentation. Here's why. I've been watching a lot of services online, and a lot of them are a lot shorter than a normal service. Being that the time has been reduced, we need to give the pastor options. What is the best option for that pastor? Maybe a 5 minute window presentation that you present to him, video presentation, may not be it may be a little bit too long for him or her. So if you say, Pastor, I got a 2 minute window video presentation that you can use, or a 3 window, you're giving him options that can fit best with his situation. The more options you can give to the pastor, the better it will be for him to decide where he can fit you in. So keep that in mind. Also, when you do those presentations, it would also be good to do a video presentation that maybe is good for a prayer group, or maybe a men's group or a women's group, some specific ministry group that the church still is doing, home group even, whether they're doing it online or having it in their home, as I just mentioned. But at least you're giving the pastor some more options where he can present you before people. And I think that's really, really important. So 2, 3, 5 minute window presentation, as well as prepare something specifically for a specific ministry in that church where you can, importantly, share your calling, share the need or the ministry you're going to be working at, and also share your need of in terms of what you need to get to the field. So these are real important items to have there so that they can understand what you're doing, where you're going, and what you need to get there. Also, if you do video presentations and via your phone or whatever it may be, make sure that they're at the best quality possible. It's really important that as we present information, as we present ourselves to whether an individual or to congregants online, that we're presenting the best possible video presentation we can do. There's a link that I'm going to lead you to. It's on this page below, where you can get some tips on how to best prepare a video presentation using a smartphone or any other device. And it will help you understand some of the dynamics that are necessary so that whatever you produce and show and ask the pastors to show in their online formats, it'll be the best possible video that can be done. Understanding that none of us are professionals in this, however, this is becoming the new norm, and so we need to make some adaptations so that a pastor will want to say, I want to show this presentation before my audience. One unique opportunity that we have by using videos now is that we can be in multiple places at one time on any given service. So for example, if you're calling pastors and getting in contact with them and they're still doing online format with their services, you can contact many services. So let's say any particular Sunday, you can be in 4 or 5 maybe churches across your district or even across the country. As you contact the different pastors and they will allow you to show their video presentations, you can be in several places at any given time. This is really a unique opportunity, as well as still being in any local church in person. So please take advantage of this and think about how this could work in your situation and how many places you can be, not just on a Sunday, but for a Wednesday or even throughout the week, whatever the church is doing at any given time during the week. So remember that as you're preparing and planning your itineration, think about how many places you can be at any given time. Another thing that would be great is also, as you're doing this and making contacts through many different people, I know there's probably a lot of requests that you have made to contact people one-on-one via a Zoom or whatever kind of online format. And that's wonderful, and I would encourage you to do that as well. But make sure as you do that and you pass along your online giving information, just be sure that that is as accurate as possible. So if you have any questions with that, please feel free to contact Bob LaFont. I would also like to encourage you to move forward with your itineration. Things I know are slowly opening up. It's going to look different from state to state, but there are places, I know churches are really wanting to open up as well, but it may look different. So as that begins to take place, as you call the pastor and begin to request a service, first and foremost, be sensitive to what's taking place with the pastor. It's going to be different from church to church, from pastor to pastor as you call them. Some are going to be really exuberant and wanting, others are wanting to, please understand, but there may be certain things that the state has still implied upon gatherings and some restrictions as well. So be sensitive to that. Sensitivity moving forward is also key. If you hear from the pastor that, this may not be a good time or whatever, that's okay. Just say, hey, pastor, can I circle back with you in a few weeks or in a few months? And always remember to pray for the pastor. Ask him for his prayer requests, especially if you sense that he or she is struggling, they're going through a difficult time, still grappling with some things and just working some things out and hoping things could be better. If you're sensing that this is where the pastor's at, offer a prayer, offer to pray for him and whatever needs they may have. And even send them a personal note. I think that would be great. Just to say, Pastor, we're thinking about you. Thanks for taking my call. But just know that we're praying for you. If you sense that there may not be, the timing may not be right, or there's not an open door, that's okay. As I said earlier, see when will be the best time to circle back. It could be a few days, a few weeks, or a few months, depending on the pastor. And always be willing to work with the pastor during this time. Also, as we're going through this season, it's important to still turn in those itineration reports. Now, some of you are probably saying, well, if I'm not itinerating, why should I turn in a report? Well, even though you put zeros on there, it's not meant to work against you. It just gives us a record of what's taking place and how many people are actually having services, whatever it may be. Again, this is not meant to be punitive, but it's our way as an itineration specialist. It's their way to best track your itineration progress. So please feel free to just send those in, and remember to keep them coming in every month. Now, with that in mind, I want to share something with you as we're beginning to look at this in a different light, of course, and be as flexible as possible. Please know that I'm willing to work with you. So what I mean is, if you have a video presentation and a pastor wants to show it, and it goes before his congregation on a regular church service, or even if it's a special church service, but it's reaching his congregation, so to speak, and of course the broader audience that could be viewing in. I would consider that as a service. So you can mark that as a service. If you scheduled a personal appointment with a pastor or a potential donor, and you're able to state your calling, your ministry, and your needs in that presentation, I will also consider that as a personal appointment. So keep in mind, when you're filling out your itineration report, I'm willing to consider those things obviously as services that you have had, as long as you can present your need, you can present your ministry, as well as present your calling. These are some of the things that I would ask for that to be included in your presentation. And finally, please know, here at Mobilization Office, we're willing to work with you. We're going to be praying for you as we continue to move forward during this time. Our hearts are with you. We will do our best to lead and give the best leadership we can to all of our missionaries that are itinerating, and to give them the best ideas, input, and preparation as possible. I know it's different, but please don't lose hope. God is still on his throne. His calling is still upon your life. That has not changed. We're just going through a season right now, and yes, this is just a season, and he'll get us all through this. So please know, we stand with you, we support you, and we love you. God bless.